Hey everybody, I'm that one person. Welcome back to Mario Kart Wii. I hope I have everything set up properly. That's awesome. Really complicated with this stupid thing in front. And I couldn't really do it while I was off screen because I was doing it during the BRB screen. Okay, there. I don't want to mess with it because I know that I'm going to be using the position of the counter later. Because it's the same counter I'm using for the Simpsons Hit Run. It's just stylized different. It's literally just a different font and different text. But I do think I have something on it. I do not. I thought I had like a filter at the ready to make it blue. Ah, there we go. Turn that off and make it. Okay, there we go. One more thing. No. Okay, sorry it took me a second to get everything all set up. I didn't really have anything planned for today, and I didn't realize that I didn't really have anything planned for today until, like, yesterday, and I couldn't really think of anything up until, like, right now. So, you know, it happens. That's pretty normal for me. We're gonna go with just the usual, just whatever. The game is Little Laugh, son of a bitch. Okay, my voice is coming through. Game audio is here. That's been quiet. Is that better? That seems like it's a bit better. Do I want to mess with the rules? Let's not mess with the rules. Let's just leave it as is. Yeah, fuck it. Okay. So. Hey everybody, I didn't really have anything planned. I just kind of picked whatever. So I don't know, maybe we can just hang out. I don't fucking know. See, I say that, but, like, I don't actually know what I was gonna say today. Like, I just kind of picked a game and threw it on. It happens. Honestly, I really should do a better job at planning these streams. Especially if I planned on doing that other thing that I mentioned, where, like, I was gonna be doing sporadic Saturday streams just whenever I felt like it. Still not too sure about that, honestly. I mean, like, on one hand, I want to do it. On the other hand, I clearly don't have any ideas to get my normal stream schedule filled out. So, like, what am I gonna do with random extra streams? I don't know. That's a great start. That's a great start. Okay. Please. Come here, please. I thought maybe if I could... It's still too loud. Okay. It is impossible trying to... Audio is hard, alright? Is that a bit better? I can't really tell. All I can do is, like... Hang on, there's something... There's an itch in my ear, and it's really distracting. Okay, sorry. I hope the audio is good. It's really hard to gauge with this shit a lot of the time, right? Because you can only really figure it out by just having it go. But you can't really... I don't know, it doesn't work a lot of the time. Okay, well... I think that should be fine, though. Regardless, let me know if the audio is still messed up, but whatever, if you don't. As I was saying, I still want to do, like, those occasional Saturday streams where I just kind of do whatever I'm feeling like that day, specifically on Saturdays. You know, just a chance for me to do whatever. Right? But at the same time, I'm not sure that's a good idea, because I can barely figure out my actual stream schedule a lot of the time. That's the thing. That's the big reason as to why I almost always have, like, a series or whatever going on. Just, like, a repeated thing. Because I know this is what I'm doing this day, I can just do that. That's also why, even if I'm really being put through the ringer by specific games, like... well, I can't get... Maybe your PC is just too quiet. You ever thought about that? Huh? Is my fucking thing using the right microphone? That's another question. Okay, it's using the right mic. If I just... Is this gonna change anything? I have no idea. It doesn't look like it's changing anything. There's like a dial on the front of my microphone that I think is supposed to be a volume knob, but it doesn't look like it did anything, so that was pointless. So maybe if I just bump my audio a little bit, just a little bit, I don't know. I guess that works. Audio is fucked. Okay, now I'm too loud because I'm going into the red, though. So I can't do that. Audio is impossible to figure out, dude. This shit's ridiculous. And I went right through the boxes. Great start. I'm completely failing everything about this stream, both in the game and the actual streaming part. This shit is hard. It's not the actual streaming part that's hard, it's the setup and making sure that things are working properly that's hard. You know? And no one really thinks about that when they get into streaming. And you're almost always underprepared for it. Okay, well... First time I get all the way up in front, and that's immediately what happens. Welcome to Mario Kart Wii. This doesn't count because it's not me getting hit by a thing. Alright. But yeah, like, I was looking at chat, even though there was nothing in chat. The whole thing of, like, trying to plan streams is arguably, like, the thing I struggle the most with when it comes to streaming. Right? A lot of the time, I'm not very good at just, like, deciding what to do on a whim out of nowhere. Are you alright? This is getting ridiculous. Fuck's sake. I tried to slow down, but there's nothing I could do about it. So, great. Thank you, game. I think the balance is good now. Okay. Thank you. I might get a little bit snippy when I'm adjusting my audio level, but, you know, it's just... I get stressed out because I'm trying to get everything right. And I appreciate your input, even if I get a little bit sassy about it. Regardless. Right? I just kind of run out of things to do, and that's why I tend to, like, focus more on making, like, big, repeatable series that I can keep doing for a while. Like, that's why I'm still going with... Fuck's sake. That's why I'm still going with the Simpsons Hit and Run mod, even though sometimes it's been putting me through the ringer. A lot of the time that mod is good, honestly. It's actually not that bad. It's just there are some things... There's just some things that they really should have tested a little bit more. Okay, why... Maybe I should have lowered the difficulty a little bit. I just kind of flung myself into it. I mean, I can't even think of the last time I played Mario Kart Wii, and I think the last time I played was on stream. So, like, it's been a while. You get first in at least one race today! Okay. But yeah, like, that's why I'm still going through with that one, even though it's probably put me through some moments that I would have been more than reasonable to just, like, nah, I'm out. That's why I literally went through the entirety of GTA 5 with the Chaos mod on. That was a bad idea. That probably took a few years off of my life, unironically. I think chat's in ads right now. That's fine. I'll just keep talking to myself about stream things, I suppose. But yeah. I think the main reason why I want to do the Saturday stream is just to, like, have the option to do whatever I feel like, you know? Because, like, technically I do always have that option, but I feel like I kind of, I don't know, I feel like I restrict myself a bit. Even though I don't have to, I always feel like I'm obligated to play specifically a game. Like, on my usual schedule, you won't catch me doing something like a fucking art stream or something. But, like, I've always been kind of, like, vaguely interested, not vaguely interested, I've been pretty interested in game development, just in general. I'm really not getting that timing right. But yeah, that's why I always look at stuff like unused content in video games. That's why I'm always talking about, like, how these things work and stuff like that. Because it's just something I've been interested in, you know? And I've wanted to, like, actually make games for a while. And I've thought about maybe, like, doing a game dev live stream, but I'm too much of an idiot to really feel confident in doing my abilities, or showing off my abilities in that on stream. Right? Especially because I feel like a lot of it would probably just be like me watching tutorials on how to do things. You motherfucker. Take it back! Right? So it'd just be kind of like lost for most of it, I feel like. Oh, come on, that didn't even look like it hit me. Like, I got close to it, but I'm pretty sure I would have been just barely scraping that. At best. Fuck it. Damn it, that was so close! It was right there! Ah, sorry. It's hard to, like, hold a conversation and also play the game. And I know it doesn't matter at all, and I'm pretty much just playing the game to, like, have something to do while I'm talking, I suppose. But, like, you get invested. That's what games do to you, man. You're supposed to get invested. Alright, that's besides the point. But yeah, like, I think that would be fun, but at the same time, I wouldn't know how to, like, do a lot of it. And even if I was, like, still figuring things out, I would still, like, feel like I would go too quiet or whatever. I don't know. But, like, game development related things have been kind of, like, ideas for things that I've had for those Saturday streams. I want to keep my Monday and Wednesday streams as they are, with me mostly just doing, like, the repeated playthroughs, or, like, longer series that we've been doing. You know? Or at the very least, just still always be... Because I enjoy gaming, you know? That's, like, what I do most of the time. Honestly, even off-stream. So I know you're a big Bowser fan, but what's... Oh, hang on. That's a lot... Hang on. I know you're a big Bowser fan, but what's your favorite version of him? Like, which game or anything else has your favorite portrayal? I don't know. There's a lot of good options. I feel like it would be easier for me to pinpoint, like, my least favorite portrayals. Because I know for a fact that that would have to be... I'm trying to go left, thank you. It would probably have to be... I mean, obviously Paper Jam, because I've already gone on and on about Paper Jam. But also, I want to throw in Mario and Luigi's Dream Team, also. I already said also. Both of them just kind of have him feel a lot more... I don't like it when he feels generic. And I know that a lot of the time, Mario characters don't exactly feel all that unique a lot of the time. But, like, there are definitely a lot of times where the games make him feel a lot more unique, feel a lot more characterized. They actually do things with him and his personality and who he is, you know? But, like, I feel Paper Jam and Dream Team and Sticker Star just don't do that. Even a lot of, like, honestly, mostly the mainline games just don't really do a lot of that with him. He's just kind of generic villain. And, like, sure, I get it. Mario games aren't really, like, top-tier storytelling experiences a lot of the time. It's fucking generic Mario, generic just platformer, save princess, right? I get it. I understand. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's not great. I still enjoy the games, but I'm still gonna, like, say that they could do better. Especially because there are other Nintendo series that's kind of started off as like that, but, like, over time they've gotten more interesting with it. Using another series as an example, Kirby. I like Kirby a lot. For those who have been watching my channel for a long time, Kirby used to be my profile picture. That's beside the point. We're actually talking about King Dedede, because he actually started off pretty much the same as Bowser, just generic villain character, go beat him up, save the world or whatever. But, like, over time, he's gotten a lot more, well, I mean, probably not that deep, but, like, more deep, more interesting, just because of, like, what they've done with him. Because most people probably noticed by now, Dedede isn't really a villain anymore. He had, like, a full-on character arc during the course of the series. And now, instead of being, like, the big main villain, he's just kind of, like, one of Kirby's allies. Because he actually had, like, a proper character arc, where he's learned from all of his failures from being defeated by Kirby, that it's just not gonna happen, and that he should just focus on other things. I just find that really interesting. Didn't that only last for, like, one game? Like, he was only the villain in the first one? I'm not really sure. He's kind of been, like, off and on, but, like, overall, I feel like in the earlier games... Here's a way to put it. In a lot of the earlier games, even if he isn't the villain, he's still not exactly on good terms with Kirby. Like, a good example is, like, in Kirby 64, when you first run into him, he's not quite possessed yet, but he's still, like, bullying Kirby and shit. And sure, he does end up helping Kirby in the end, but that's mostly just because you know, uh, for one thing, the main antagonist of that game straight up possessed him. And then also, I think Waddle Dee also helped him, and obviously King Dedede is ruling over the Waddle Dees, and he kind of has a soft spot for him. Something like that. He still doesn't exactly look happy about it, though, you know? And, like, in a lot of the games, there's still, like, the overarching feeling of, like, they're not on good terms. But the actual moment that had them, like, change from, like, actual villains to being more on better terms was Kirby Superstar Ultra. In one of the game modes, Revenge of the King, there's, like, one specific moment. Well, I mean, it's like the ending of the mode. The whole plot of that mode is that, like, King Dedede is challenging Kirby one last time to see who is truly stronger. And then immediately after that, everything changes because there isn't a single Kirby game after that where King Dedede is ever fighting Kirby by choice, at least in a mainline game. Like, sure, there are some games, some of the older games where he's, like, not doing it by choice either, as we just said, Kirby 64. But, like, there's also other games past that, like Sweet Squad, where he is actively choosing to fight Kirby. You know? I don't know. The point is, he actually did have somewhat of a character arc. Bowser's just, in the mainline games, been kind of stagnant. I guess I mentioned it because he was a good guy in Kirby's Adventure, which is the second game. That's true, that's fair. I mean, Kirby still did more or less blame him, so to speak. I guess it's less that, like, King Dedede has always kind of been, like, a good person at heart, I suppose. But also, he wasn't really that much on good terms with Kirby, so he was still kind of seen as the antagonist. And it also doesn't help that Kirby actively beat him up when he was trying to do something good, even if he didn't actually know that Dedede was doing something good. That probably didn't help their relationship. All this is kind of besides the point. Sorry, I got very sidetracked. I got wrapped up in Kirby lore. But also, next time you're playing a Kirby game after Kirby Superstar Ultra, take note of what is happening to King Dedede and the fact that he isn't doing it by choice. I always thought that was a very interesting way to, like, keep him as a recurring boss, while also keeping his character development. That's fun. You did good, Sakurai? Is he still working on Kirby games? I think so. You did good, HAL Laboratory. I like the games that show Bowser being a good dad. 100%. Incredible. I love that. I just like any instance where we get to see more of just not generic evil Bowser, because there's actually quite a few games that do that. First two that come to mind, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Super Paper Mario, which are also both games that are, one, very story-heavy, being the RPG series, and then two, feature Bowser as a playable character, so I guess, you know, no shit. But, like, I feel like there's probably a few more instances of that. Like, I think they kind of have more of him, really just the first three Paper Marios and Origami King do pretty good with Bowser. I appreciate that. I mean, he is still kind of generic in the first Paper Mario, but Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario, Origami King, great. Love the way they treated him. Sakurai stopped working at Kirby after Air Ride. He came back for Air Riders. I see. Well, either way, overall, they did good. I also think that they did kind of a good job with Bowser in Superstar Saga, because obviously that was like the first time that they showed, obviously he's not that bad of a guy, he's willing to put aside differences for the greater good. We see that a lot in, like, the spin-offs, but never in, like, the mainline games, because the mainline games don't really do anything interesting with the series. Honestly, sometimes it feels like the mainline games are more of a spin-off than the actual RPG spin-offs. I'm sorry, it just has to be said. It's just they don't do anything with the series, you know? the mainline games are about as deep as the Mario Kart games, but the RPGs actually do a lot with the characters and make them really interesting. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. I liked him in Odyssey. He was fine in Odyssey. He did kind of fall into, like, the same role, more or less, though. I mean, he talked, which is nice. He talks in Mario Galaxy and stuff, too. Really, I mostly just like the suit in Odyssey. He dresses up nice. He cleans up nice. Also, I like the ending scene. I mean, I feel bad for him, and he didn't deserve what happened to him at the very end of the scene. But, like, right before that, I like that. Yeah, the ending scene is great. Except for, like, the very end. He did not deserve that. He did not deserve to get just fucking left on the moon alone. That was so messed up. Why would they do that to him? I don't know, I guess what I'm saying is, they have a great character with Bowser. They just need to, like, do something with him. Really, they need to... I'm not asking for the Mario series to get, like, super fucking deep. I'm not expecting to get Mario Odyssey 2 and having a storyline that's as deep as, like, a fucking Ace Attorney game. But, like, you know, just a little bit more, you know? I think, honestly, I feel like the Mario series and Bowser do their best when they have a more unique antagonist, just someone else. Because then they can actually just do things with the character that isn't just generic evil bad guy. You know? Wait, what was that? Oh, he totally did. He kidnapped Peach and tried to force her to marry him. I think he can be evil, but not generic. He's usually pretty generic, I feel, a lot of the time. And, like, maybe they could try to do something with him still being evil, but not generic, but I feel like they never do. And I feel like just, like, when they... How do I phrase this? It's like when they have Bowser as the antagonist, they never want to switch things up. They just feel like falling back onto the usual. You know? It's just, there's nothing special. They just do the same thing over and over. But, like, every time that they have someone else as the antagonist, suddenly he's like, got actual character development. I mean, that's Mario's archenemy. That's not something you just throw away. I'm not saying just throw that away, to be fair, to be clear. Right? But I'm saying it could be, at the very least, something more like the early Kirby games, where, like, he's not the main antagonist, but he and Mario aren't necessarily on good terms, so to speak. There's still, like, an obvious rivalry, still kind of, like, going at each other there. But just, they're willing to put aside their differences more often for things that need to be done. Again, like Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, or Super Paper Mario. You know? These are just my general thoughts of the whole situation and everything. Especially because when they do decide to go with other antagonists, a lot of the time they actually just make really interesting characters. God, I will never forgive not Partners in Time. I will never be able to forgive Dream Team for having, like, this entire brand new character with this entire lore and in-depth everything. And then they're just like, no, Bowser's the antagonist now. It's him. It's just, like, that... I love Bowser, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, as messed up as this might be for me to say, I genuinely think that Dream Team would have been better if he just kind of wasn't there. I mean, obviously it would have been even better if he just wasn't the main antagonist. But, like, if he just wasn't there and they could have just had focus on the actual antagonist, I mean, it's like, come on, dude. They kind of did the same thing with Partners in Time, really. It wasn't as bad, because he was just kind of like a side antagonist. But, like, he was definitely at his most generic. At least the adult Bowser was, just because he wasn't really all that important, besides just the usual walked in, kidnapped Peach, that's about it. That's his only relevance in that story. And somehow they still found a way to turn him into the final boss of that game. I don't know. It's a whole complicated everything. You know, it's just a lot. It's a lot to describe how they've done so little. Really, I feel like a lot of the, like, main Mario characters are usually pretty stagnant in, like, the actual main games. Right? And it's even more interesting, considering a lot of the time in the spin-offs, they're just so much more interesting. Like, moving focus away from Bowser, what about Luigi? He's just kind of second Mario in most of the mainline games. I mean, they've gotten a little bit better with specifically him in some of the mainline games. But, like, you look at Luigi and Luigi's Mansion, and it's like, wow, this is a great character. We want to see more of this. Why not show us more of this? Even in, like, Mario and Luigi, Paper Mario, both of the Mario Brothers are really interesting in those. And they're all, like, very different takes on the same characters. That's because most of the spin-offs are RPGs, and RPGs have dialogue. I mean, I guess so, but, like, again, what about, words? What about Luigi's Mansion? And the other RPGs, Mario doesn't even talk in any of them. But he's still a way more interesting character anyway. Just because they actually did something with him. He has a personality in those besides just generic hero character. And, like, I'm sure there are other instances. And I'm sure that they could easily, like... Because, like, Kirby doesn't have much dialogue, but they still have a lot more compelling characters and everything. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to, like, rag on the Mario series so much today. But, like, at the same time, it's like, please, just a little bit more. Because, like, clearly they've shown that they can give these characters a lot of personality and, like, make them interesting and fun without even having to, like, give them dialogue. But no, you don't get that. Not allowed. I didn't expect to be ranting about the Mario series so much. Please. Nope, I got third. Most of the time, Mario games are just games. Those games actually have a story. Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I fully understand, you know? Because it's like, it's not meant to be super deep. It's just kind of like, Mario games are almost entirely focused more on the gameplay and, like, doing new things or whatever, you know? And sure, sometimes that doesn't work out. Oh, Mario Kart World! Oh, Jesus. Sorry, something got caught in my throat. A bad game got caught in my throat. But, like, I get what they're going for, and I understand, and I'm not, like, too beat up about it. It's just that, like, seeing a lot of the other spin-offs, there's, like, they could be doing more with it, and I think that's what upsets me the most, you know? It's one of those instances where it's like, I'm able to be the most critical about it because I care about it, not because I don't care about it, or because I hate it. You know? It's just a whole thing. They probably think that they don't have to because the spin-offs exist. Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense. But at the same time, like, when was the last time we got a Paper Mario game? It's been a hot minute, at least. And the last one was just a remake anyway. Don't get me wrong. Great remake. Honest to God. Love that remake. I do think... Like, I put the Paper Mario 1000 Year Door remake pretty much at the same level as the original. Like, both versions have their own unique positives and negatives. But I think also, for the most part, most of the negatives in the remake can just kind of be canceled out. Like, one of my biggest complaints was the new soundtrack. But also, not that the new soundtrack is bad, it's just different. It's more in line with, like, Origami King. Also a good game, also a great soundtrack, but Thousand Year Door had a much more unique and interesting one. So I kind of prefer that one for the style of Thousand Year Door. But also there's literally a badge that you can get for a single coin at the very start of the game that takes 0 badge points, that literally just changes all the music to be the original version. So, like, it's completely canceled out. There's no reason to have that complaint, because it literally doesn't matter anyway. Sorry, that's a tangent. I got wrapped up in a tangent. But yeah, it's like, we don't get the spin-offs all that much. Admittedly, it's usually because they're working on them, and I understand that, and I get that too. But at the same time, it's like, I just wish that we could get more with the characters. I just like when they I like when they do more with the characters, but they don't really do that much. Ignore what I said when I was slipping on my words. We don't need to talk about that. Right? I don't know. Especially because, you know what? There's a lot of characters who could probably use a lot more character development, but because they don't really show up in the spin-offs, they just don't get that, you know? Like, what about Daisy? What about Waluigi? What about... I don't fucking know. There's a lot of characters, though. Just in general, Mario has a lot of characters. But, like, there's a lot of characters that don't really get any attention in the spin-offs when they really could be made a lot more interesting if they were brought to the more story-heavy spin-offs and they just did things with them, you know? I could go on and on about how they don't do anything with Waluigi. I don't even really care for Waluigi. He's fine, I guess. I am neutral towards Waluigi, right? But the thing is, I'm just gonna say it, he's probably not gonna be getting in Smash anytime soon. And I have reasoning behind it. Because they don't do anything with him. They wouldn't know what to do for a moveset for him. Like, my perfect evidence for this is, like, you look at the more recent Mario Party Jamboree, every time you get one of those, like, second characters to follow you, there's, like, a whole... Well, not always, but a lot of the time with, like, a lot of the more important characters, there's, like, a whole minigame, like, a whole super long minigame for each player to compete in to get that character. Oh, wait, I think... Yeah, I guess it would happen with all of them. That's besides the point, right? All the ones that you can get, at least. Right? And, like, all of these characters, a lot of the time, have things that are, like, related to this character. You know? Things that would make sense, like Luigi getting trapped in a haunted mansion. Mario's the main character, so he has you play games from the first 3 from, like, the earliest Mario Party games, right? So, they did Wario, and his was, like, a bunch of different minigames. Like WarioWare, possibly. I don't know. Something like that. That might have been their inspiration. But even then, a lot of those minigames kind of, like, make sense for Wario. So what do they do for Waluigi? Well, he had that pinball machine level in Mario Kart DS. Let's just make him a pinball machine. They just don't know what to do with him. Because they don't put him in anything besides, like, the sports and karting spin-offs. So he has no anything. Daisy doesn't really have that much either. The only reason why she has more is because she was in Super Mario Land, which took place somewhere that wasn't the Mushroom Kingdom. So they could go off of, like, the general kind of theming of that. But they don't really do anything with her as a character. And I'm sure there are just so unbelievably many more examples of Mario characters that they could be doing so much more with, but they just don't. And I think that's the part that bothers me the most about Mario as a franchise, I suppose. Just the simplicity that is at its core is holding them back from doing so much more, because they've shown before that they do good when they do decide to do so much more with these characters. I didn't expect to be getting so deep into this rant. God. But yeah, that's why I think, like, other antagonists would be a good idea for the Mario series. Because, like, there's nothing wrong with having a one-off antagonist, you know? As previously mentioned, Dream Team did a pretty decent job with the new guy. If he was the main antagonist, it probably could have been an actually really interesting thing there. They could have done some crazy shit. But they didn't. But we're not going to talk about that. Super Paper Mario also had a brand new antagonist. An interesting new face to the series. And they told their story and they were gone. Hell, Mario and Luigi, Nope, not the right one. I lost the name completely. Thousand Year Door. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name for that one. Also had a one-off antagonist. Also was a lot more... No! Okay, I probably deserved that. That was like the worst timing for that, though. I thought I could squeeze through. Yeah, that was rough. I could see my death coming from a mile away. Please. No, no, no! Come on. But yeah. I like the idea of, like, more one-off antagonists, so that way you can have more... Because you don't have to just have... I don't know, you could presumably do more depth to a character while having them still be the main antagonist. But I feel like a lot of the time, at least with the Mario series, it seems to happen more often when there's a one-off antagonist. You hate that item so much. Like, I get what they were going for with it. Something like it's a risky play, you could keep it on you to get like a huge boost, but you have to drop it at some point or you'll take a big hit from it. But man, it's just so cruel. It always ruins your day when it shows up, man. Always. Because it's... Like, here's the thing. I feel like it's really easy to run into other racers, except for when you have that. That's like the only time I ever struggle to bump into someone, is when I desperately need to bump into someone. See, there we go, I just bumped into like 2 people without even trying. But if I actually had the fucking lightning cloud, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. That's just how it is sometimes. You know, back on the subject of Daisy and how she doesn't really have much done with her character and personality and everything, why is it that, despite that, she always has, like, some of the coolest courses in Mario Kart? Like, this place is fucking awesome. I love this place. It's such a fucking amazing aesthetic level. And I will always have a nostalgic appreciation for Daisy Cruiser. And then even, like, in the more modern ones, what was it, Daisy Village from, the 3DS one? I don't know why, but the Daisy courses, despite me not really caring for Daisy, there's just always such great courses, and I don't get it. Not again! Bye. I'm just praising Daisy's levels, and then I fucking give her a lightning cloud. Alright, that's besides the Yeah, I don't know. All of her courses are just like some of the nicest fucking courses in the game, I feel like. And I don't know why. They're awesome. And I don't know why they decided to give them all to Daisy. I guess the sunset just because it's orange, kind of like her dress. I don't know. Fuck. Ah, come on! I haven't even been doing that good. That's probably why I haven't been hit by too many blue shells, because I haven't been playing well enough to get blue shelled in the first place. You know what else? You know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna have this whole stream be me ranting about the Mario series. And I'm gonna enjoy it. Because you know what? There's been a lot of things I've wanted to talk about in terms of the Mario series as a whole. And like, you know what? It's come up, so might as well bring it up. Might as well keep going. I wish that a lot of the like... Okay, thank you, game. Okay, thank you, game. Jesus. I wish that a lot of the, like... I looked away for 1 second. Please. I wish that a lot of the, like, non-story-based spin-offs... That was the cleanest shortcut into getting totally mean. Yeah! Welcome to Mario Kart Wii. Anyway, as I've been trying to say and keep getting distracted from, I wish that more of the spin-offs, like the sports ones and the kart and the parties and stuff, the ones that aren't, like, big story-based things or aren't, like, clearly focused on a specific other character, just these general spin-offs, I wish they would have more representation from, like, the wider Mario franchise, you know? Because, like, it's almost always Mario Kart, sure, but it's, like, it's just, like, the mainline characters. Like, only, like, Mario, Bowser, Luigi, Peach, you know, the usual, sure, I get that. But, like, for one thing, there's, like, a lot of other Mario spin-off series with a lot of other Mario characters. Why not get some more... Well, I don't know who they would do for Luigi's Mansion besides EGAD. But, like, why not get some more Luigi's Mansion representation? At the very least, like, a costume for King Boo that is his Luigi's Mansion outfit. Why not get some Donkey Kong Country characters in there? There's so many you could do. What about WarioWare? You know? There's so many different Mario franchises and series and everything. And it's like just the mainline ones. And sure, I could kind of get that if it wasn't for the fact that they're clearly fucking grasping at straws for characters. Like, one of their more recent games introduced a character called Baby Waluigi. Like, who asked for this? Genuinely. Genuinely. I cannot think of a single person in the entire world who genuinely would have been like, man, they need to make a baby version of Waluigi. I can't think of anyone. Right? Like, I can get a couple of the baby characters, maybe, because, like, they show up in Yoshi's Island or Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. But, like, we don't need a baby version of every fucking character when there's so many other Mario characters from other Mario spin-offs that could totally work as a way better, more interesting racer. Like, seriously, who gives a shit about Baby Waluigi? Who wants fucking Baby Daisy? Why not get EGAD in here? Why not give us fucking King K. Rool or Cranky Kong or some shit? Why not get fucking Mona or Jimmy T? There's so many, and they just don't. I wonder if they just needed lightweights. I feel like at this point, like, half the characters in Mario Kart games are probably light characters, just because they're all just fucking baby versions of the normal characters. Egad could be a lightweight easy. He's, like, tiny. Sorry, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just so insane to me that they have so many different characters that they could be doing things with. And it's like, baby Waluigi, guys, that's what you wanted, right? Like, bruh. Bruh. And I mean, no shade to the other series that I'm about to talk about, but like Mario Kart 8, also, I kind of want to call out for this. Again, so many actual Mario series characters in Mario Kart. But yeah, let's get Link and fucking Inkling. That makes sense. Those characters make a lot of sense. Let's make Tanuki Mario a brand new character. That's what the world needs. They probably thought that they had to complete the list of baby characters. I mean, I could understand how they would think that, but I would argue the exact opposite, and that we didn't need anywhere near as many baby characters, or any baby characters. Like, I might be willing to make an exception for, like, any of the ones that appeared in Yoshi's Island, or, Partners in Time, but, like, we don't need half of the roster to be the same characters but babies. You know? I don't know. I'm sure everyone has their own opinion on it. I just don't understand. Like, at the very least, since people have been asking for it for so long, again, this isn't really for me, because I am mostly neutral on Waluigi. Neutral to slightly negative. I don't care for him, and a lot of the time he just ends up being a pain in the ass, I feel like. But, you know, that's just personal experience for playing Mario Kart and party and things, so that's not really his fault, I suppose. Regardless. Nope. I panicked a little bit. I probably shouldn't use that. Yeah, because I wanted to save it for that shortcut. But it's like, maybe they could at the very least include, like, I feel like it's such a missed opportunity, honestly, that they've never had a Mario and Luigi game where the main antagonist was Wario and Waluigi. I feel like that makes just too much sense for them to have not done it so far. You know? Not only would that have been a great opportunity for them to give both of the Wario brothers, mostly Waluigi, a lot more depth as characters, but also it's like an entire game where like the main antagonist has like the same sort of skill set as you, but in their own style. That would have been awesome! Imagine having to fucking counter Bros moves from the Wario brothers or something. Imagine just what they could have done with anything. I don't know. I guess at the same time, though, they probably can't do that, at the very least with Wario. Because I feel like Wario's kind of like... I don't know, Wario's kind of like reached the end of his rope with his character development, I feel like. Like, they've reached the point where it's like, yeah, this is Wario, we know who he is, we don't really need to do much more with him, just have things happen around him. Right? Like, obviously he's not a good guy. Don't get me wrong, this is very obvious. He's greedy, he's kind of an asshole, he's selfish, he doesn't care for his employees and has multiple times tried to get out of paying them. But, like, you're not... I feel like you're not gonna see him trying to, like, get some sort of grand, powerful, evil treasure or something. That's why they killed him in a car accident. Who, Wario? I guess I know what you're talking about. Last I saw him, he was dying in a plane crash. That's besides the point. Right? I feel like Wario couldn't really be, like, a main antagonist anymore. Like, unless it's, like, something small, right? He wouldn't really be... Like, in Mario Land, the game he was introduced in, Mario Land 2 specifically, all that he really did was just kind of, like, steal Mario's house and kick him out of it, and made him have to unlock his own front door and then kick him out. Or in an elevator while eating Oreos. Yeah, Wario dies a lot. He probably deserves it. All things considered. I bet it was Jimmy who cut the fucking elevator line. Besides the point. Right? I feel like Wario wouldn't work as an antagonist in the Mario Luigi game at the same time as me wanting him as an antagonist as the Mario Luigi game. Because, like, he wouldn't really be that sort of guy. He wouldn't want, like, endless power to destroy to take over the world or something, like a lot of the antagonists in the Mario and Luigi games. He's more just like, I want to fuck people over so I can steal their wallets. You know? More troublemaker territory than pure evil territory. It's because his "oh my god" line is so good. I mean, you're right. Ah, fuck's sake. I think it could work to have them be rivals, but not be main villains. So you're saying something like they could be... I could see that. I think it would be a good idea to have them, like... I don't know. I feel like... On one end, I want to... You know what? Yeah, I guess that could work. Sorry, I'm just kind of... My mind's going a million miles an hour and not actually... This sucks. I'm not actually able to complete my sentence. I feel like they could be, like, henchmen to the main antagonist of whatever the game is. Because, like, he promised them money or something. Or whatever it is Waluigi wants. Maybe both. We could figure out what Waluigi wants. We could figure out what his motives in life are. What are his goals? What does he want? Does he just want happiness? Does he want to be a fucking rich millionaire like Wario? Does he just really hate Waluigi? Or hate Luigi? Maybe he does really hate Waluigi, actually. Or maybe he wants to be a fucking DJ. I don't know. We'll never be able to know until we get a game with Waluigi that actually, like, elaborates on him as a character. But yeah, I think that might be a good idea. He wants to dance. You know what? You're right. Waluigi should be the main antagonist of DDR Mario Mix 2 for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then they could give us his full everything. Thank you to Pooks1 for the follow. I'm glad you're enjoying me just going on and on about random Mario bullshit. But yeah, like, even if it's not, like, through the mainline games, I feel like there's a lot of characters that we could get more out of. You know? Just more knowing who they are as characters. It wouldn't even have to be, like, that elaborate, you know? Like, all that we really know about Wario is that he likes money, and that he's an asshole. So, you know, like a lot of people, honestly. I need to stop running into walls. Even if it was just, like, something simple like that. I mean, I feel like we would also have to, like, back on the subject of what I said earlier, if we wanted Waluigi to be in a Smash game, we would have to know more of, like, what he does. Not just, like, what his goals are, or what kind of a personality he has, but, like, what he actually does in his spare time, what his abilities are. I don't fucking know. Does he have a motorcycle like Wario? Yeah, you right. I don't know. I feel like it's not that big of a deal, and overall it doesn't make the Mario... Well... Yeah, overall it doesn't really make the Mario series worse, per se. It's just that, like... I would like to see that in future Mario games. I want to see more elaboration with the characters. I want to see them actually, like, doing things with them. And I want to see them... Oh, God. Working in some of the more, like... fringe Mario characters, I suppose? I don't know. Like, the characters that aren't, like, the core group. Right? Because the core group is pretty much just, like, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, maybe Bowser Jr. and Kamek. But, like, I want to see them branch out a little bit. There's a lot of characters you guys have to work with, you know? Maybe if they ever make a Mario movie 3, they could put the focus on the Wario brothers as, like, the main antagonists. I say, knowing fully well that I haven't watched either of the two Mario movies. That's besides the point. You get what I'm trying to say. Give me a Toadsworth game. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's get a Toadsworth game. Ah, fuck. I just got a pretty decent idea for a Toadsworth game, actually. They could do, like, a Mushroom Kingdom city builder type thing. Like, with Toadsworth planning out the kingdom or whatever. Like, I don't know, maybe the whole thing. Probably just starting with Toad Town. But, like, the entire Mushroom Kingdom. I don't know why that just came to me out of nowhere. But I would honestly kind of like that. Even if it would just be, like, you, quote-unquote, playing as... Like, if it wasn't actually us playing as Toadsworth, and it was just, like, us being Peach. They could have them be, like, how in, like, Sin City, I think it was? Like, early Sin City games, there was a character named Professor Wright, I think? They could just have Toadsworth as him. Have him be, like, the quote-unquote main character, with you just being Peach in first person, so you wouldn't actually see her or something. I was thinking of a Professor Layton game, but Toadsworth. I have mixed feelings about that. I love Professor Layton, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I feel like Toadsworth is... He's got the same sort of, like, general British gentleman thing going on, I suppose. But I feel like he's a bit too easily swayed to his emotions for that, you know? Part of the appeal of the character of Professor Layton is that he's, like, a steadfast character. So that, like, on the rare chance that he does show some form of, like, different emotion or whatever, it hits harder, or he's always there to, like, help anchor the other characters. I feel like a lot of the time Toadsworth ends up being the character that needs to be anchored, though, you know? Again, back with Partners in Time as an example, he nearly fucking passes out, like, 3 seconds after Princess Peach goes into the time machine, before it's even revealed that something happened to her. You know? Like, he nearly fucking dies over it. And nothing's even happened yet. You know? I don't know. Not to say that Toadsworth wouldn't be an interesting character in his own right. I just feel like there's a very specific way with the Professor Layton games that kind of works. I don't know. I don't know. I'm an idiot. What the fuck do I know? Always take everything I say with a grain of salt, because this is just me rambling. A lot of the time I'm just kind of like throwing my thoughts out there. I don't know for sure. Maybe a Professor Layton-esque game with Toadsworth as the main character could work. Maybe I'm just wrong. I'm wrong a lot of the time, so probably. I just got back in first! Come on! That's way off! Okay, well, I'm just gonna take the dip. There wasn't much I could have done about that one. At that point, I might as well just take the take the blow and move on. I keep flying way out of whack whenever I try to drift and jump at the same time. I think I've pretty thoroughly screwed up this race. Okay, well, if I didn't before, there it is. You know what else I thought would have been an interesting idea for a game in the Mario series focused on another character? I think it would be interesting if we got, like, an RTS-styled Mario game where you play as Bowser. Like him leading his army. I mean, since they would probably want to make him, like, an actual protagonist, it would probably be something like an invading army on the Mushroom Kingdom, him going against them or something. But, like, I don't know. Either way, I just feel like that would be interesting and a good way to, like, work his character into a unique sort of game for a Mario series. I don't know. It's just something I thought would be kind of neat. I've never played Fire Emblem, though, so what the fuck do I know? Maybe I should. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of interesting ways you can take specific characters in the Mario series, right? Like, just a game focused on that character. But instead of it just being, like, another platformer or just a random spin-off that they just kind of shoehorned in one character as the main antagonist or protagonist, they could, like, actually do something interesting with it. I honestly kind of wasn't joking when I said that Waluigi Dance Dance Revolution. I mean, if I remember correctly, he was the antagonist in the first Mario Dance Dance Revolution, but, like, I think they still had him, like, get overwritten by Bowser, which that's also something that really bothers me when they just kind of shoehorn in Bowser as the main antagonist of a game. Don't even get me started on Mario Power Tennis, I think it was. Because, my god. Because they had such a good idea with that one. I would have loved to see a Mario game with Luigi as the antagonist, honestly. They could have done some emotional shit. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from a tennis game, admittedly. But, like, it would have still been an interesting idea. They could, but they have little incentive to make non-Mario spin-offs. I suppose. Except for WarioWare, apparently. That was a bad idea. I didn't have the speed. I mean, then again, didn't they, like, just try something new with that second Princess Peach game? Was that any good? I haven't heard much about it, besides the fact that it exists. And because I am unfortunately not that interested in Peach as a character, she's fine, I guess. Another character I'm neutral towards. I don't know. I didn't really buy it. I didn't buy it, and I don't really plan on it. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it's, like, crazy good. Peach is a hoe. Okay, well, I don't know how to respond to that. JK, JK. I mean, at the very least, thanks to the GameCube version of Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, we know she's racist, so that's already not a good sign. And I'm just not going to give any context to that. If you know, you know. So yeah, not too big of a fan of Peach for specific reasons. Honestly, I feel like if I wanted to make a really dumb YouTube video, I could probably make like a whole... I could probably make like an entire scripted video just for like the bit of just like saying... Like, I could probably make a whole video just saying that Peach isn't very good at what she does. I could probably go off about her and how she's not a great person or all that great of a ruler, all things considered. Because, like, even when she is doing things, is she really doing things? Oh, you motherfucker! Do it? Maybe. I have a lot of things to finish up first. I still have to finish that Sonic Adventure playthrough. I haven't finished editing that yet. I still need to finish that other series, which I haven't said the name of yet, because nobody besides you and the person or besides me and the current person in chat know what it is. Hint, hint. But... And then I also still have to finish scripted video, and then I still have to finish... Is that it, actually? I don't know, but it's still a lot. I haven't even finished recording the other series that I'm doing with the guy in chat, and I still haven't finished editing it, obviously, and I'm still working on scripted video, and there's just a lot. Did you hear? Oh, I shouldn't have been reading chat, I should have been playing the game! Did you hear about how Peach and Rosalina are sisters in the Mario Galaxy movie? I did not. I also didn't watch either movie again. Oh, what the hell, Luigi? What did I ever do to you? Honestly, I don't really care for Rosalina either. I mean, like, it wouldn't be... I would feel neutral towards Rosalina if they didn't just, like, immediately try to shove her into fucking everything. You know? Like, I mean, Jesus. Relax, guys. Please. This storybook is so sad. That's true, they did... She was interesting in Mario Galaxy, and then they just didn't do anything with her ever again, in terms of, like, her as a character, but they shoved her into fucking everything. And it's like, oh my god, guys. Sorry, it was a little excessive, and it kinda got to me after a while. That's enough for me. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I'm not saying that your opinion is wrong or anything. I'm just saying that's how I feel. I just kind of got super annoyed with how And it's not just that, it's the fact that they also eventually made fucking Baby Rosalina, which, like, already plays into my already existing annoyance with the fact that there's a shitload of baby characters in this series. But then they also decided to go ahead and make a character that's already being shoved into way too many things as it is, and then find a way to do it twice as much. Like, please, guys. Damn it. I was expecting that to be like a mushroom or something. She gets more story than almost every other Mario character gets in only one game. Yeah. And yet, unfortunately, she doesn't have much going for her besides that one story. A lot of the other characters are still pretty interesting as characters. And I mean, like, I get, like, the vibe they're going for with her. I don't know. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of Rosalina, I suppose. It's just, I said it last stream, the more something is shoved down my throat, the more annoyed I get with it. And the more it reaches a point where it's like, now I don't want anything to do with it because of how much you're trying to force me to like it. You know? I think that story is compelling enough. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think she's okay in Mario Galaxy, and I'm annoyed with her in almost every other instance. What has Rosalina even been in besides Galaxy? Like, every spin-off. Well, like, the non-important spin-offs, I believe. Also, well, wait, I guess that would be spoilers, so I can't really say. Fuck it, who cares? It's the Mario and Rabbids games. Who's gonna care about spoilers in that game? Yeah, she's the main antagonist in that game because she got possessed. And once you get her out of that, guess what? She's just the exact fucking same as ever. And yet they still make her, like, the whole big thing who has to defeat the antagonist on her own. Because she's just that important, apparently. And also she got her own Rabbid variant in that game. Who is, again, more interesting than she is, by the way. Alright, sorry. I shouldn't even be ranting this much about Rosalina. I just got annoyed with how much they tried to shove her down our throats. It's like, no, you like her, I swear! She's a great character, and you know that, and you know that she's a great character, and you want her in everything! Buy our merch! Sorry. I still feel very strongly about the fact that there's way too many of the fucking baby characters in this series. It needs to stop. And I'm gonna stop going on about that. Fucking blue shells. Oh god. Okay, well that was on me. I just landed! Come on, man! And the worst part is I got the landing boost off that, so it was immediately ruined anyway. I guess to summarize my thoughts on Rosalina and move on from that. I think she was fine in Mario Galaxy. I think they did good with her story and made her an interesting character. But then, like, they just kind of expect her one appearance in Mario Galaxy to make her be the most interesting Mario character ever. Despite not actually being all that interesting of a character, I feel like. I don't know. Man, this game is a great game to just, like, talk, you know? Like, when you're not really paying attention to it, it's just easy to just kind of let muscle memory handle most of it and just go off about whatever you want to talk about. Well, you're allowed to disagree, but I did say that we were moving on from this topic, so... We're moving on! I just feel like she feels very one note, and like, it feels like she was meant to be just in that one game, but they just wanted to keep using her or something. Mario Kart is better for that because it's easier. I mean, I guess that's fair, but Mario Kart 8 is also kind of boring. I'm not a fan of Mario Kart 8. I don't want to go on and on about Mario Kart 8, but like, I feel like it's very clearly one of the... You can tell it's from around the 3DS and Wii U era because it's around the same... It has the same sort of feel as, like, what I refer to as the sterilization era of the Mario series. You know, when things just kind of started to feel a lot less... Like, it felt a lot more specific. Like, they didn't want to break away from any of the things that they had to do more interesting things. You know? A good example of this would be Mario & Luigi Dream Team, which a lot of the previous Mario & Luigi games all had, like, all these sorts of, like, new species and interesting characters and things. But, like, it was all just kind of the same ones that we've already seen before in Dream Team. And then after that, with Paper Jam, it was just Toads. It's that sort of... You kind of pay all the relatively new stuff, huh? Nope. Not true. It's just that I have very strong feelings about the sterilization of... Like, I don't like the modern Mario Karts, because I feel like they're not really doing anything good with it. Like, a lot of the... Like, I like it when there's changes, but sometimes those changes aren't good changes. The open world aspect does not change enough for it to be a good change for the game, I feel. If anything, it just kind of gets in the way of the other things. Also, I'm just now realizing you meant, like, you pay all of the relatively new stuff as in, like, the things they added for the game, and not just new stuff in general. Sorry, that was on me. I misinterpreted. I don't know. I guess kind of, yeah. I mean, I didn't mind the gliding in Mario Kart 7, but I didn't like the underwater mechanics in either 7 or 8. I don't think the gravity changes are, like, anything. Honestly, we already had gravity changes in previous Mario Kart games, and you didn't really need to make, like, a whole big deal out of it. Especially since the mechanics end up making it feel less interesting, because instead of you, like, being able to properly bump the other racers and knock them off the track or something, you just kind of both get a tiny speed boost from it, so it's not really all that interesting. I never really go this way. I want to see what's happening. So that's why I never really go down there. So it's like, I don't know. Modern Mario Kart has not really impressed me. I feel like it's more interesting that the other games managed to be more interesting while not having as much to change, right? Like, new Mario Kart games, I feel, tend to rely on gimmicks. Meanwhile, other Mario Kart games like this one mostly just are interesting as it is. You know? Like, Mario Kart DS didn't really need a gimmick to be a whole great brand new Mario Kart game. It was just a Mario Kart game on the DS. And that was enough. Because they actually made it interesting. But I feel like they put so much focus on, like, making a brand new gimmick and everything, that, like, the interesting interesting course designs and, like, I don't know, the core mechanics and everything kind of just fall to the wayside and are just kind of stuck at, like, being basic and sterile, like, ever since the sterilization thing of Mario Kart. Not Mario Kart, the Mario franchise. And for the record, just because something, like, comes from what I determine to be the sterile era of the Mario series, doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. 3D World is fun, Mario Kart 7's not that bad. Mario & Luigi Dream Team, pretty decent game. Brain's not working with me. Trying so hard to focus. But what I was trying to say is, but I just feel like overall they're not as interesting. It's true, but I think they feel pressure to innovate and not just make another Mario Kart game, even though that would be totally fine. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I feel like, honest to God, give me a second. I feel like, ironically enough, one thing that's holding back a lot of the game industry, and just games in general, is, like, developers always feeling the need to, like, innovate and have some big new changes and everything, when all you would really need to do is just have, like, another entry in the series that's well made, you know? Like, I'm not saying that every game does this, but I know that, like, Really, there's a lot of games these days that kind of just, like, get wrapped up in trying to have some new, innovative gimmick that changes everything. Even some good games, but I usually don't feel like that gimmick is, like, the thing that makes the game good, you know? To somehow manage to circle this conversation all the way back to the beginning when we were talking about Kirby. If you notice, a lot of new Kirby games, ever since, like, Return to Dreamland, all have some sort of, like, brand new fancy gimmick. Like, there's the super abilities from Return to Dreamland, and then there was the... what's it called? Hypernova from Triple Deluxe, and then there was the Robobot mode from Robobot. Like, there's always some brand new fancy gimmick. But it's like, those games aren't good because of those gimmicks. They're good because they have good gameplay and good everything besides that. That's the way you and I feel, but there are a lot of people who do want something more. I guess so, yeah. But I feel like that something more shouldn't come at the expense of the main gameplay. Which is why I kind of don't really like Mario Kart 8 and have some problems with Mario Kart 7. Because I feel like they focus so hard on making those gimmicks and implementing them into the courses and everything, that the actual gimmicks and everything themselves kind of like, you know, the game itself just kind of didn't feel as good. It didn't get as much attention as it could. It didn't feel like as interesting or unique as the previous ones. Another series that kind of does this, I've noticed a lot in more modern Ace Attorney games, they do this a lot. I mean, like, in the original trilogy, they introduced, like, one gimmick total in the second game, and then they just kind of roll with it. But then once you get to the Apollo trilogy and onwards, there's, like, a brand new mechanic every single game. And I mean, like, sure, sometimes it works out. I get the logic mechanic from the Investigations games. That was fun. I liked the logic chess from Investigations 2. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it didn't really need to be there. The game still would have been good without them if they just focused on the story. It's harder than ever to convince people to buy your game, and flashy new stuff probably helps sales more than just solid gameplay. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, that's kind of like another one-up that indie games will have on big corporations and everything. I'm not saying, like, one way or the other, AAA games or indie games are way better than the other. I'm not saying one way or the other. But one thing that I feel is better for, like, indie games, a leg up that they have on the corporate competition, is just the fact that a lot of the time they don't really have to do it, you know? Like, look at fucking Deltarune. What does Toby Fox advertise when he's making a new when he's releasing a new chapter of Deltarune? That he's releasing a new chapter of Deltarune. You know? A lot of game devs just kind of, like, when it comes to indie games, they don't have to worry about impressing the fucking investors or whatever. They just have to, like, make a game that they think will be fun. Right? So because they don't have to worry about having to impress some big corporate assholes to give them the money to finish their game, they just kind of have to, if they do end up having to, like, if they do end up trying to, like, make a full game and they end up needing funding, they don't try to, like, get investors in on it. They just go to, like, Kickstarter and are like, this is my game. Doesn't it look cool? If you give me money, I can finish it, please? And then that works. Look at, again, not Deltarune, but Undertale. Or another game. What about Friday Night Funkin'? Or fucking... Didn't Baldi's Basics also go to Kickstarter and get funded? I don't remember. Regardless, the point stands, you know? Those games were all just funded because people thought that they looked like fun games, or they played the demos or whatever, and they enjoyed them. But, like, a corporation game developer or something, like a AAA dev, or even just, like, a lot of established devs, even, like, I don't know, would they just be, like, AA or something? I don't know. like a third-party developer or something, they all have to go for like they have to go through like corporate bigwigs and stuff to get their games approved, as opposed to just actual gamers. So that's kind of like a big disadvantage, and probably a big reason as to why all this flashy shit ends up getting put into the game, or rather forced into the game sometimes. Because it's like, well, yeah, we see that you're making a new game, but are the gamers that we don't understand really gonna care if there isn't some big flashy gimmick that changes everything? And it's like, yes, of course they will. This is the Mario game. Everyone loves them, and this one is our best one yet. But there's no gimmick! You need to add a gimmick to it, or otherwise no one's gonna buy it! I don't fucking know. They do have to worry about impressing players, though. Yeah, that's fair, but also you don't have to do that by impressing the... You don't have to do that by, like, throwing in some sort of, like, gimmick or whatever. You can just make a game that you think is fun, and then if other people also think it's fun, and that impresses them, then there you go, you're set. You don't have to have, like, them tell you to force in something where it's not needed. Honestly, from what I've just... Honestly, I know this is probably pretty obvious, but it's pretty... But I've noticed that, like, a lot of the time, a lot of creative projects just kind of get ruined by the fact that they have to get funding for it from corporations. Just because they always, like, well, but you need to do this, but that goes against what this is about. No, I don't care. I'm not going to fund it, and you're not going to get anyone to fund it unless you do this thing that we ask. And then they just kind of get, or worse, actually, when it's like, just taking like a TV show, for example. They could get like a whole established thing and have it all working, but then like, no, we want to change it. We want to make this, we need to push this into it so that way we can get more sales. And it's like, that's a terrible idea. Everyone who watches this is going to hate it. Don't care, you're doing it now. We pay for your show, so you have to do it. Once they become serious, the pressure to innovate starts to build. I can see that. I don't know, man. I just feel like a lot of the time, from what I have heard online about stories of various things, a big problem with so many different sort of like creative projects is just corporate intervention. And that sucks. Like, imagine having something that you've been working your whole life towards making, and having it be like a huge financial success, and you get to keep making the thing that you love, and then suddenly some random corporate bigwig is like, no, we need to make changes. But it's my project. No, we're making changes, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And you're gonna have to roll with it, whatever we say. I don't really care whatever it is you say, or what you want from your project. We're making changes now. And then seeing those changes that you never wanted in the first place just fucking destroy your game, and have your game, or your movie, or your TV show, or whatever, and just kind of not be able to do anything about it, you know? Like, that probably fucking sucks, dude. I can only imagine how painful that must be. I don't know. It feels like... It honestly feels like big business and creative ingenuity, or anything, creative anything, really, are just two opposing forces that are going at odds constantly, because they both kind of need to have the other to get anything out, to get anything of what they want, but at the same time, their goals are pretty much polar opposites, and always wind up contradicting each other. Like, a creative person has to, like, get funding to do these things a lot of the time, so they have to go to the business, but the business doesn't want to put too much funding into it, because otherwise, well, they won't be making money off of it, even if they are. they'll just say that they aren't making enough money off of it. I digress. But they just want as much money as possible. But to do that, they have to put money in, let the creative person do what they want, but no, I can get more money if I just do this, if I make these changes to the show and cut these people from the thing. And it's like, they're just two exact opposite they're two sides of the same coin, I suppose. Literally the yin and yang of this situation. Because they kind of can't do anything without the other, but at the same time, they both want the exact opposite thing. I would like to read that, but I'm coming up with mushrooms. And it just dawned on me, just like, this whole stream has been ridiculous, because I'm like going all deep into this sort of creative shit, and then I'm just like interrupting, like, hang on, I'm coming on the mushroom. I could have phrased that better. I'm coming up to the mushrooms. Okay, I'm gonna read that. It does work out that way a lot. Ideally, something should make money as a side effect of... Yep, I knew someone was going to catch that. Haha, it does work out that way a lot. Ideally, something should make money as a side effect of being really good, rather than making money be the main goal. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of the time, because they have to deal with, like, their investors or whatever, then they can't just do that. And that's sad. You didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything about mushrooms. I am nearby the mushrooms. How about that? Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah. Oh god, the microphone almost fell over because I had to press that button and I didn't sit down very carefully. Guess that's just kind of the world we're stuck with, though, I suppose. Just a constant, ever-going battle between corporate greed and creative passion. It sucks, but my microphone... I was stretching it, the wire on my Wii remote got stuck on the microphone on my headphones. You know, the one that I don't use anymore because it doesn't sound very good. You're glad you're not a creator. That's fair. I'm glad I'm not at the point where I have to worry about that yet. I mean, I say yet. For all I know, I could never get there. But, you know. I'm still doing my best. I'm mostly just trying to have fun. Come on. On subject of having fun, I'm still working on the scripted video. I already mentioned that earlier, but still. I'm making some... Well, I'm not going to say that I'm making, like, good progress, or that I'm doing fantastic, but I'm kind of proud of what I have done so far. Even if it is pretty simple, and mostly just, like, small edits. But it's looking nice, and I hope that I can keep that sort of style for the rest of it. I'm looking forward to it. Don't hold your breath, because I'm still being very slow about it. I haven't even finished, like, the intro. Then again, I imagine, like, the intro might be, like, where most of the work's gonna be. Because I've said, like, a lot of times I plan on animating some of the video, but I don't plan on having most of it being animated now that I look back at it. Just because that's kind of, like, the flow of the video. A lot of it's just gonna kind of have, like, gameplay with my commentary, or, like, parts of, like, the game being shown, and, like, you know, like, a lot of it's just gonna be from the game, so I don't have to animate too much, except for, like, the intro and the outro, and, like, maybe a few bits here and there. But it's gonna take me a while, because I've been kind of slacking. Truthfully, I've mostly just been, like, focusing on Sonic Adventure still. Like, I want to get through that eventually. We're getting pretty close, actually. I need to get through, like, this next chunk. And then I think the entire final... Well, not entire final episode, but, like, the entire rest is going to be, like, one more recording session after the one that I'm working on now. So I'm pretty close to finishing that. You barely hit that last boost. I know, man. Some of these, I'm, like, getting so unbelievably close. Also, that reminds me, a big reason why this is probably so hard is because I have the computer set to hard mode. I didn't really think about that until just now. But yeah, I want to get all of my YouTube projects that I have going right now finished, which kind of sucks because, one, I just piled a shitload of work on myself all at once, and now I just kind of have to, you know, deal with the consequences of my actions. But also, like, I keep getting, like, other ideas for, like, smaller YouTube videos, like one-off things or stuff like that. Or, like, other series that I could just do whenever I feel like it. But I just can't really do that, because I just want to clear out my current projects. You know? It's gonna take me a while. Hopefully, though, a lot of this is gonna end up being, like, important experience. Right? Because I'm not just kind of going through the motions and doing this. A lot of this is stuff that I don't know how to do yet. Or at least didn't when I started. So I'm kind of like using a lot of this as an opportunity to learn how to like edit YouTube videos and how to like make specific sorts of like effects and like gags in the video and like how to animate, how to 3D model. Because I can't fucking animate with 2D things apparently. Trust me, I've tried. It doesn't look good. On a related note, most of my emotes that are animated were made by my good friend Nora, so thank you again for that. Just figured I would send that plug your way. It's a learning process, and how to schedule yourself. Yeah, I should have thought about that one pretty hard too. What I should do is, like, well, I don't want to do that, though, because then I would feel like I'm just piling up more videos on myself, right? I was going to say I should, like, write down the ideas for videos that I wanted to do, and then maybe I could get to them later, but then I would know that I would just feel obligated to do those videos at some point, and it would just kind of, you know, backfire. You'll learn. I'm trying to. It's like, it's all a learning process. You would think that after, like, what, 3 years at this point of doing YouTube, I would, well, not YouTube, but, like, YouTube, Twitch, everything like that. Well, I guess just those two. That's besides the point. Streaming and making YouTube videos, you would think that I would kind of have more of a feel for it. But you know what? After, like, 25 years of being alive, nearly 25 at this point, I guess, you would think I would know how to life in general. This is a sick final race. It's not bad, yeah. I just hope I can actually do well here because I've been choking. I want to wait till, like, the good shoots. This isn't that bad. Damn it. I was hoping I could get another item from that, but fine. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, right? That's the thing. right? It's very easy to get ideas for things to do for, like, YouTube and Twitch and everything, but actually, like, finding time to do that, and then actually doing that, those are, like, 3 whole different ball games. Like, sure, I could plan out so many different ideas, but actually finding time to do them, and especially with YouTube, where I have to, like, go through and fully edit everything. Well, not everything. In fact, spoiler alert, I have a series I plan on mostly not editing, getting recorded right now. I digress. I swear that shell went through you. I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes it looks like it's getting real close, though. But yeah, like, especially for my YouTube stuff, I'm trying to, like, start editing most of it. Not all of it, because again, the next one I'm not going to be editing that much. But, like, so much of it is just, like, a complicated balancing act. And I'm not very good at it. I mean, you've seen me play Wii Fit. I'm not very good at balance, apparently. At least according to that game. But yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out someday. But for now, I'm just kind of trying to learn. That's all you really can do a lot of the time. Just see what's going on and learn from your experiences. It's fun, but a lot of the time it's pretty hard. Well, either way, I think now would be a good time to edit off. I know that we already have, like, or we still have, like, 15 minutes left, but we just went through every single course in the game. So, I think we're good. I think we can take a break here. What do you call a non-binary person if you want to be polite? Like, you can't call them sir or ma'am? I guess it would depend on, like, what their pronouns are. Like, using a non-binary person that I know in real life, Rats, you can find her in the Discord, she just hangs out, she's not, like, a streamer or anything. She uses she, they pronouns, so I would just go with ma'am, because she has she in there. Worst case scenario, though, you could always just, like, ask. That's what I would say. What if they use they, them exclusively? Yeah, I would say just ask them. You know, it's probably easier that way. Just ask them once, see what they say, and then roll with that. I'm wondering if there is a word for them, or a word for that. I'm assuming that they would probably just use the same as usual, just they, them. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this kind of thing. I usually just try to do what I can to respect what other people say. I'm not a genius on LGBTQ whatever things. I just know that I'm gonna leave people to do whatever they want as long as it's not hurting anybody. That's besides the point. What isn't besides the point is, I'm gonna head off for today. Thank you everyone so much for hanging around. I hope you enjoyed me just kind of going on about random bullshit, because I honestly had a good time this stream. I wasn't really saying anything important, but I had fun. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I was probably going to stream regardless, but you took time out of your day to show up here, and I appreciate that. I'm going to head off, get some rest, and I hope you guys all have a lovely rest of your day. I will see you guys next time. Peace.